I just don't understand how you could do this.
You know the reasons.
Her billionaire husband insulted and called her ugly for years after childbirth. Now she's America's top supermodel. I still remember the exact moment my husband decided I was worthless. 3 weeks after giving birth to our daughter, I stood in our marble bathroom, exhausted and leaking breast milk through my shirt. Victor walked in, stopped, and looked at me like he was assessing a failing investment property. "Jesus, Olivia, you could at least try," he said. His eyes swept over my unwashed hair, the dark circles beneath my eyes, the body still soft and stretched from carrying his child. And I married a runway model, not whatever this is. I laughed, thinking it was a joke, until I saw his face. Victor never joked about appearances. That night marked the beginning of 4 years of systematic emotional destruction. 4 years of hearing I was revolting, unfuckable, worthless. 4 years of being told my stretch marks were disgusting, my skin looked like crepe paper, my body was ruined beyond repair. But here's what my billionaire husband never understood. Sometimes when you break something completely, you don't destroy it. You create space for something entirely new to emerge. I met Victor Blackwood when I was 22, fresh off the bus from Wisconsin with nothing but a modeling portfolio full of local department store ads. I was working as a cocktail server at a high-end gallery opening. Victor didn't ask for a drink when I approached him. Instead, he assessed me with cool gray eyes. "You have interesting bone structure," he said. Not a compliment, a clinical assessment. "I don't flirt, I identify value. What's your name?" "Olivia," I told him. "I'm Victor Blackwood." Even a Wisconsin girl knew that name. Real estate mogul, the man whose signature obsidian glass buildings were reshaping Manhattan's skyline. "Have dinner with me tomorrow," he instructed. "I'll send a car at 8. 2 weeks later, I moved into his penthouse. 6 months after that, we married in a ceremony featured in Vogue. The Obsidian was Victor's flagship luxury development, dark, reflective, and formed under extreme pressure. An appropriate metaphor for my marriage. I remember the first night he brought me there. He stood behind me as I looked out the window. "It suits you," he said. "Beautiful things belong together." At the time, I thought it was romantic. Now I recognize it as the first clue. I was an object that belonged with his other possessions. The pregnancy wasn't planned. When I told him, he looked calculating. "Nasht, it might be good press," he said finally. "Billionaire embraces fatherhood. We'll make it work." Like I was a problematic development property needing rezoning. Victor was accommodating during the first trimester, but as my body began to visibly change, he withdrew. The night before I went into labor, I found a text from a woman named Margot. "Missing you already." When I confronted him, he dismissed me as hormonal and paranoid. My labor lasted 26 hours. Victor attended conference calls in the hallway. When Zara finally arrived, I expected everything to change. Something did change. Victor's view of me. The comments started immediately. "You might want to cover up," he said while I was breastfeeding. "No one wants to see that." 1 month postpartum. "Christ, your stomach looks like a roadmap." 2 months. "Those stretch marks are revolting." 3 months. "I'm increasing your personal trainer sessions." On Zara's first birthday, during a lavish party, he leaned close to my ear. "Maybe you should consider surgery. I know a guy who's discreet, to restore things." The truly devastating part wasn't the cruelty, it was how I internalized it. I started seeing myself through Victor's eyes. I avoided mirrors, dressed in darkness, and wore Victor's disgust like a second skin. By Zara's 3rd birthday, Victor and I barely spoke. Then came the morning that changed everything. I was in the kitchen with Zara. Victor appeared, and Zara proudly showed him a drawing. "That's you, that's me, and that's mommy being beautiful." Victor glanced at the drawing. Your mother hasn't been beautiful since before you were born," he said, the casual cruelty of someone commenting on the weather. "Beauty is objective, Zara. There are standards. Your mother used to meet them. Now she doesn't. That's reality." Something inside me shifted, tectonic plates of identity realigning. He was teaching my daughter to destroy herself. I sent Zara away and turned to him. "I want a divorce." He laughed. "And go where? You haven't worked in 5 years. You have no college degree, no skills, and no looks left to trade on. He left for his office, confident in my imprisonment. Later, crying in the elevator, a woman in a charcoal suit handed me a card. "Whoever made you cry that way," she said, "he's wrong about you." The card read, Dominique Voss, President, Authentic Media Group. The next day, I found myself on the 43rd floor. Dominique Voss was a media visionary known for rejecting traditional beauty standards. "Victor Blackwood's wife," she observed, "I'm launching a new campaign, and I think you'd be perfect for it. We're calling it Authentic Beauty. Real women, real bodies." "I'm not exactly billboard material anymore," I said. Dominique stood me in front of a mirror. "Look, strong bone structure, eyes that have seen real life. The modeling industry wanted you when you were a blank canvas. I want you because you're not blank anymore." "My husband thinks I'm hideous," I admitted. "Your husband sells the illusion of perfection in concrete and glass. Of course he can't see the beauty and authenticity. It threatens his entire business model." We did the shoot the next Tuesday. The photographer, Ava, didn't ask for contortions. She asked for presence. "That's real power you're showing," she murmured. When I saw the unretouched images, I barely recognized myself, not because I looked different, but because I looked authentic. The morning the billboards went up, I took a detour to Madison Avenue. There, looming 40 feet tall, was my face. Me in simple linen, stretch marks visible, eyes direct. Above it, authentically beautiful. A businessman stopped beside me. "Powerful message, on," he said. "My teenage daughter needs to see more of this." My phone vibrated. A text from Victor. "We need to talk. Dinner tonight. 8 p.m. I spent the day in peace. As I dressed for dinner in a simple black dress, Zara watched me. "You look pretty, Mommy. You're beautiful because you had me." "Daddy's wrong." "Yes," I agreed. "Daddy is wrong about many things." Victor was waiting at Le Ciel. "Would you like to explain," he began, "why my wife is displayed half naked on billboards across Manhattan?" "I'm not half naked, and I don't require your consent. I've already called Dominique Voss," he claimed. "She agreed to pull the campaign." "No, she didn't," I said. "I'm leaving you, Victor. Tonight." He laughed again. "You can't take my daughter. Our daughter, who needs at least one parent who doesn't teach her to hate herself." A text hit his phone. The campaign had gone viral. Stock was up. "What did you do?" he asked, face paling. "I told the truth," I replied. "The interview goes live tomorrow. Reclaiming Beauty, one woman's journey from billionaire's shame to self-acceptance." "I'll sue for defamation," he threatened. "Truth is an absolute defense, and I have receipts." We negotiated. Joint custody. A public statement supporting the campaign. No NDA. "I built an empire on perfect facades," he said, finally defeated. "Perhaps I've forgotten how to see beyond them." The divorce was efficient. The Authentic Beauty campaign revolutionized my career. What began as a photo shoot expanded into a movement, a cosmetics line, and a foundation. I wrote a book, Mirror Work, which became a bestseller. Co-parenting with Victor was a challenge, but he tried. One day, picking Zara up from my new warm apartment, he paused. "She seems happy," he said. "More herself." "She feels safe to be imperfect here," I replied. "I'm learning to appreciate imperfection," he murmured. "It's a process." 10 years later, I launched a documentary series, and the premiere was at the very gallery where Victor and I met. To my surprise, he attended. And after the screening, he handed me a wrapped package. It was Zara's drawing the family portrait from that morning in the kitchen. "You kept this?" "Reminder of the moment I realized how much damage I was capable of," Victor said. "You know, I was wrong about you." "Which time?" "All of them." Later that night, I stood before my mirror. The woman looking back wasn't perfect by Victor's old standards, but she was authentic. She had built a life from the ruins of the one that broke her. The journey from that marble bathroom where Victor first assessed my postpartum body to the woman I am today wasn't linear. But transformation is real, and it begins the moment we decide we deserve more than what we've been told we're worth. Victor taught me to hate my body. Dominique taught me to see it as powerful. And Zara taught me that beauty is perceived through love, And I taught myself that the opinion that matters most is my own. Your authentic self is waiting. The question is, are you ready to see it?